Okay guys, so in this video we're going to talk about Canopy Growth and should you buy Canopy Growth stock before earnings. So earnings are being posted on May 29th, guys. So why is this so exciting? What's going on with Canopy Growth? Well, there's a couple of reasons why, and simply because Canopy Growth is the largest cannabis stock by market cap in the entire world. So I told you guys how excited I was for the quarterly earnings on Aurora Cannabis. This whole kind of lockdown quarantine measure, people began to stockpile essential needs, and I think cannabis fits one of those. It's definitely something that that a lot of people didn't want to go without for like a month or 2 months at a time. So that led to a surge in revenue and a surge in earnings for Aurora Cannabis, and we saw that completely change the company. So now a lot of people are waiting to see what's going to happen with Canopy Growth. Well, obviously, a lot of the smaller players had amazing quarters. So Green Thumb had an amazing quarter. They're based out of the United States. Aurora Cannabis had a really strong quarter. So I think it would make sense that Canopy Growth would follow suit. Since they're the biggest and the largest by revenue and by market cap, I expect them to really let us know what's going on with the cannabis industry over the last 3 months or so. So guys, I told you guys I have two positions in cannabis stocks. I have Aurora Cannabis, which is I really like that stock. And then Canopy Growth is my hedge. Now the reason I hedge with Canopy Growth is because it's the largest, most diversified player, and it was the first publicly traded cannabis stock in North America, guys. So this stock really ticks a lot of boxes. And I don't hear a lot of people talking about the stock, but as you can see here, I think it is still a decent value. So if we take a look at the 1 year chart, we can see that the stock is still down 50%. So for me, to get the largest cannabis company at a 50% discount is an excellent opportunity. So we already experienced the bottom for the stock. It was around $9.76 in March 18, and we're way beyond that, guys. So I think there's a big opportunity, and I think $20 is a fair price. You know, you could have gotten the stock maybe last year at around $40, so sitting around $20. I think that it is a decent price for this company. So let's talk a little bit more about what to expect for earnings. So as you can see here, I'm reading this article on Market Realist. It says Bank of America is bullish before Q4 earnings. So it says Canopy Growth, one of the strongest in the cannabis industry. Notably, Constellation Brands also backed the company. Before Canopy Growth's fourth quarter earnings, Bank of America, Merrill Lynch had some bullish views about the company. So let's see what they had to say. So what they said is that basically on May 22nd, the street stated coverage will buy rate and a target price of 30 Canadian dollars, which is about $22 US, depending on the currency exchange rate you're using. So I think this price target is a little bit conservative. And the reason why is simply because if the smaller players are doing well, what is the biggest player going to do? How is it going to be affected by this surge and demand? And it's not just that, there's also some positive news. New York has been pushing to legalize cannabis in the state really hard. So New York City is the biggest city in the United States. If things get legalized in New York State, that is an absolute huge step forward for the cannabis industry in the United States. And I think Canopy Growth is a very safe hedge, guys. So for a lot of you guys out there that are wondering, like you're new to investing and you want to buy a cannabis stock, I think if you're just going to pick one stock, I think the safest, lowest risk stock is Canopy Growth. And it's simply because of that is basically its size and the fact that it's backed by Constellation Brands. They have a massive stake in the company, so it's in their best interest to make sure it survives. So how will Canopy Growth perform? Well, according to Bank of America, Canopy Growth is well positioned to survive in the evolving industry like cannabis, despite the slow growth in the cannabis market this year. It's been slower than expected. The second wave of legalization in Canada included edibles, beverages, vapes, and concentrates. Looking at the demand for these products, there is hope that the cannabis market could grow in 2020. So obviously the coronavirus has affected things, but it says research by the Canadian cannabis industry shows that certain marijuana strains can help fight the coronavirus. So I think there's just a huge change in the overall outlook on a lot of these stocks, and we've already seen the bottom in cannabis stocks, guys. So I think a lot of the worst is behind us, and a lot of the things looking forward are going to be very positive. So this is the biggest player, and the reason why it's the biggest player is because Canopy Growth has massive revenue, guys. So I want to give you guys a quick kind of overlook at some of these numbers. You can take a look at them yourself. So I'm here on Yahoo Finance. So I just want to show you guys the massive revenue growth for okay. Numbers are I made it a little bit bigger so you guys could see it a little bit easier. So let me just make it a little smaller so you can see it. Okay, so as you can see here, so let's kind of go on a quick timeline on why Canopy Growth is the largest. So in 2017 fiscal year, they did 39 million. Then 2018, 77 million. 2019, 226 million in revenue. This is fiscal year revenue, guys. So over 4 quarters. And then as we can see here, over the 12 trailing months, they did 384 million. Now this number is going to be a lot higher for the fiscal year 2020. And the reason why is simply because most of these other smaller cannabis stocks saw a substantial boost in revenue. I think Green Thumb's revenue was ridiculous. That was one of the highest ones. Aurora had some strong revenue as well. So many of these stocks have already reported. Now, all of them haven't reported yet, but if the smaller ones have played, what is the biggest player going to do? So I'm expecting an explosion in revenue here. And even though obviously the companies are not profitable, I think at a $7 billion market cap, I think you're getting this company maybe 50% off of its longer term intrinsic value. So for me, I think Canopy Growth, I think at a $14 billion market cap would not be, I mean, it's the largest cannabis company in the world. I don't think that's an outrageous price target. So for me, it's like getting it half off, guys. So I think, Canopy Growth has a really, really big product line. They have their Tweed brand, which they can show you guys some of their products. So they have edible products. They're selling beverages, vapes. They have vaporizers. They acquired the Stores and Beckel vaporizer with the Volcano. And of course, they're selling cannabis, oils and concentrates, gel capsules, hemp. This company is in a lot of different things, guys. So this is kind of like the king of all cannabis stocks, and I think there's a big opportunity to get this stock before earnings. So me, I've been loading up on Canopy Growth. I've just been loading up on shares. I have an average cost right now of about $17. I basically was buying around here, and then as this price started to go up before earnings, I've been adding some more shares. So where do I think Canopy Growth stock is going? Well, my price target in my head is around $40, guys. So I think that it's around 20%, 50% off. And I still think there's a lot of opportunity here. Canopy Growth, I think, is definitely going to be the leader in the future. And there's going to be a lot of consolidation. A lot of cannabis companies are not going to survive. So it's really important to be selective when buying these stocks because you don't want to see basically your investment go bankrupt or things like that. So like I said, guys, I think it's a strong buy. I'm going to continue to buy more shares tomorrow as we go up to earnings in anticipation of a strong earnings report. And I think since we saw recent resistance back at around $25, I think that's probably where we're looking after earnings, around $25. And if it breaks out, then perhaps we could head to $30, because if Canopy Growth has a really, really strong earning, that's going to lift all cannabis stocks. So it's going to lift Aurora, it's going to lift Hexo, it's going to lift Tilray, it's going to lift Green Thumbs, it's going to lift Afria, it's going to lift all of these companies. So really, really interesting to see what happens, guys. So for me, a strong buy. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and be sure to check out more of Canopy Growth. Quietly a very, very strong company that is basically approaching $500 million in revenue, and they just started out with only 30 million in 2017. So it's been a really, really crazy to see these guys grow so fast. And I think once this company, obviously it's going to take some time, but as they continue to grow and they approach that $1 billion revenue mark, perhaps they approach that mark, let's say by 2022, 2023, I think you're going to see a massive increase in the share price. So this is where you want to get in, guys. Very early stages. We've seen the bottom for cannabis stocks. I'm looking forward to riding this wave and see where this takes us. So hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel for more videos on other cannabis stocks like Canopy Growth. I talk a lot about Aurora Cannabis. I try to give you guys a lot of information on the cannabis industry because this industry is posed for explosive growth, guys. I think the sky's the limit with some of these stocks. We've never really seen something like this before, and one of the things the key things to making money in the stock market is you have to get on early. You have to get on new trends early, right? So when people were kind of sleeping on the e-commerce trend, people that bought Amazon, people that bought Shopify stock, they made a lot of money. So for me, this is another trend. There's always going to be new trends because change is the only thing that's guaranteed. So it's really important to identify the best companies, the strongest companies, and to take action, guys. You have to take action, and if you're going to invest, it's best to invest and take strong action. And don't think that you have to buy all at once. It's probably best to buy your position over time. That way, you're reducing your risk, and also make sure you're using stop loss orders to prevent massive losses. So that's it for now, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. Until next time, take care.